America has faced numerous terror attacks within the past few decades, from the infamous event of 9/11 to the bombings of the Boston Marathon. These attacks all had major impacts on both the nation and overseas. America has changed drastically over the past 16 years to help fight the war on terror for better and for worse. 9/11 was the most destructive terror attack that America has ever seen since the Oklahoma City incident in 1995. On September 11, 2001, 4 planes were hijacked by terrorists from a group known as Al-Qaeda. One plane crashed into the north building of the World Trade Center and the other into the South Tower.
U.S. citizens were shocked when the planes crashed into the Twin Towers. While most conspiracy theorists say that the attack was no surprise, for the average New Yorker, the 2 planes that crashed into the Twin Towers that day came out of nowhere and left the world in shock. That wasn't the end of the tragedies that day. The 3rd plane, Flight 77, crashed into the Pentagon. The 4th plane, Flight 93, was headed towards Washington, D.C., but the brave passengers managed to fight the plane back into their control. Sadly, the plane crashed near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The whole event took the lives of 2,977 innocent people and left a huge scar on America. President Bush and Congress, as a result, immediately took action declaring war on terror and passed a bill called the Patriot Act, allowing law enforcement both locally and federally to combat terror-related crimes. Extra surveillance and checkpoints were added to areas like airports to improve security. However, this act spurred a lot of controversy after creating tensions between U.S. citizens and their government.
The TSA has been criticized for not being effective and being nothing more than a security theater.
But a 6-month ITEAM investigation into security at our airports raises serious questions about how much safer we really are.
Actually, the TSA doesn't protect us from terrorist attacks.
And the surveillance on citizens that the Patriot Act allowed came into more controversy in 2013. On April 15, 2013, 2 pressure cooker bombs went off during the annual Boston Marathon and took 3 lives and injured 280 others. The perpetrators were found by police, and one of them was sentenced to death while the other was killed in a shootout with police. This attack revealed something very scary. The FBI, after interrogating one of the brothers, revealed that they weren't part of any group, but were extremists motivated by their own extremist Islamic beliefs. Further interrogations revealed that they were planning an attack for the 4th of July.
In another event later that year, an NSA subcontractor, Edward Snowden, leaked exactly how the government spies on American citizens. He leaked thousands of classified documents, leading him to flee the country. In interviews, he revealed something even more shocking.
Recently, there were attacks in Paris. What happens when you have a terrorist attack like that within security agencies, the NSA, for example?
I was working at the NSA during the Boston Marathon bombings investigation. And as it was playing on the news, myself and colleagues were in the cafeteria, and we turned to each other and said, "I'll bet you anything we already knew about these guys in the databases." And in Paris, I'm certain that the same conversation happened. And this is really the legacy of mass surveillance, is the fact that when you're watching everyone, you know who these individuals are. They're in the banks. You had the information you needed to stop, to prevent even the worst atrocities. But the problem is, when you cast the net too wide, when you're collecting everything, you understand nothing.
Spy agencies collect all this data to the point where they have the evidence to prevent an attack, but the sheer amount of it makes it so that they literally have to find a needle in a haystack.
Over the course of all these attacks, the American perspective has changed drastically.
According to a recent survey, Americans do not agree with the NSA and their actions on surveillance. Now, what's even more surprising is that Americans do not believe that they should have to give up any of their privacy in order to receive protection against terrorism. Now, this is to be expected with Edward Snowden leaking out that the government was spying on people. All this is a huge difference from what Americans initially thought in 2001 after the terror attacks. Now, this has caused huge controversy between the people and the government. As the majority of those events being connected directly with the Middle East, many Americans have enlisted to fight the second war against Iraq, which lasted 10 years after 9/11. Also, since these attacks have been directly connected to the Middle East, many Americans became wary and even developed a distinct hatred against Muslims, even the ones that have nothing to do with these attacks. Fortunately, this hatred has gone down over the years. However, the war in the Middle East is still waging, causing multiple Americans to be really worried about global conflicts.
As a result of these attacks, American society has changed in a few negative ways. It has brought a divide between citizens and the government due to the Patriot Act. It has also brought a divide between communities, especially Muslims, as Americans have grown fearful of Muslims due to these attacks.
Thank you very much. All right, now I've got a very important question for you. All of our viewers, they want to know this, okay? How long have you been growing this mustache?
This mustache is like a week old, actually.
A week old, guys. Look at this.
Really?
A week old.
This is bad.
This is impressive. I've been growing this for what? A month? It's been a month, guys. My hair grows slowly. The Van Thompson here. We're
It's that Benin sun. I heard
it is the Benin sun. Now, one more thing before we let you go. We heard that you have an upcoming haircut coming.
I do. It's I haven't gotten a haircut in I don't know, for about a year now. About to get one in a couple weeks before graduation, because my mom wants to take actual decent photos of me, you know.
Amazing. So, guys, we're looking forward to that. So, would you please let us know when you get the haircut so we can show the world?
Absolutely.
We'll be happy, right? Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Appreciate
All right.
it. Thank you.
All right. Back to you, Sienna.
Every time you see the lighter side of every situation, some things are meant to be, so get your expectations at me. You leave it all to me. Just leave it all to me. We're doing it all.